Ryan Mitchell had everything the world could offer: wealth, power, influence. As the founder of a multi-billion-dollar tech company, he was constantly surrounded by luxury, private jets, penthouse apartments, and high-stakes business meetings with the world's elite. But despite his success, he often found himself reminiscing about his childhood, back when life was simpler, when success wasn't measured in dollars but in friendships and laughter. One evening, after closing a major deal in New York, Ryan decided to celebrate with his team. Instead of choosing an exclusive members-only club, he felt drawn to a small, cozy restaurant on the corner of Fifth Avenue. There was something about its warm glow and the aroma of freshly baked bread that reminded him of home. As he stepped inside, the gentle hum of conversations and the clinking of silverware created a welcoming atmosphere. He settled into a booth near the window, glancing around as he waited for a waiter to take his order. That's when he saw her, a waitress moving gracefully between tables, balancing plates with practiced ease. Her face looked familiar, yet worn by time and struggle. Her hazel eyes, once filled with youthful dreams, now carried the weight of unspoken hardships. Then it hit him, Sophia Carter, his childhood best friend. They had been inseparable in high school, dreamers, rebels, partners in crime. They spent hours talking about their future, about the businesses they would start together, about changing the world. But life had taken them on very different paths. Ryan had gone to Silicon Valley, launching a startup that turned him into a billionaire overnight. Sophia, despite being one of the brightest students in their class, had disappeared from his life. He had assumed she was doing well, maybe even running her own company. But here she was, working as a waitress in a small restaurant. His heart ached. She hadn't seen him yet, so he watched in silence, trying to piece together the story behind her presence here. Was she just passing time? Was she supporting a family? Or had life been unkind to her? Finally, she approached his table, pulling out a notepad. "Good evening. What can I get for you?" Ryan hesitated. "Sophia?" She froze, pen hovering above the notepad. Slowly, she lifted her gaze, her eyes scanning his face. Recognition dawned, and for a split second he saw the old Sophia, the girl who once believed the world was hers for the taking. "Ryan?" Her voice was barely above a whisper. A mixture of emotions crossed her face. Surprise, embarrassment, something close to sadness. You're here?" she asked, as if unable to believe it. "I am," he said softly. "It's been a long time." She nodded, forcing a smile. "Yeah, it has." There was an awkward silence. Ryan wanted to ask 1,000 questions, but he could see she wasn't ready for them. So instead he smiled. "I'd love to catch up after your shift if you're up for it." Sophia hesitated, then nodded. "Okay, I get off at 10. Ryan stayed in the restaurant watching as she worked. He noticed the exhaustion in her steps, the way she forced smiles at customers who barely acknowledged her presence. He saw the way she winced when she bent down to pick up something, as if her back had endured years of strain. When the clock struck 10, Sophia untied her apron and walked over to his table. "Let's go somewhere quieter," Ryan suggested. They found a small coffee shop nearby, and as they settled into their seats, Ryan finally asked, "Sophia, what happened?" She sighed, stirring her tea absent-mindedly. "Life happened, I guess." She told him how she had started college with big dreams, but halfway through, her mother was diagnosed with cancer. Her father had already left years ago, so it was just the two of them. Medical bills piled up, and Sophia had to drop out to work full-time. "I thought it would be temporary," she said, forcing a smile. But then my mom passed away, and I was left with nothing. No degree, no career, just debts and broken dreams. Ryan felt a lump in his throat. Why didn't you reach out? I was ashamed, she admitted. You were out there changing the world, and I was surviving. I didn't want to be a burden. Ryan shook his head. Sophia, you were never a burden, and you still have so much ahead of you. She laughed bitterly. I'm 35, Ryan. My dreams expired a long time ago. He leaned forward. No, they didn't. A silence stretched between them before Ryan made a decision, one that would change both of their lives. The next morning, he asked Sophia to meet him at a downtown office building. Confused but intrigued, she agreed. When she arrived, she found Ryan waiting with a team of lawyers and business executives. What is this? She asked, looking around. This, Ryan said with a smile, is your second chance. He explained that he was offering her a position in his company, not as an employee, but as a partner. He had been searching for someone to lead a new initiative focused on providing educational opportunities for underprivileged women. And I can't think of anyone better for the job than you, he said sincerely. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. Ryan, I don't know what to say. Say yes, he said, taking her hands in his. Say yes to believing in yourself again. Tears streamed down her face, but this time they weren't from sadness. They were from hope. She nodded. Yes. Months later, Sophia stood in front of a packed auditorium, speaking at a conference about empowering women through education. She had transformed from a struggling waitress to a leader, using her story to inspire others. And Ryan? He sat in the front row, watching with pride, knowing that true success wasn't measured by how much wealth one accumulated, but by how many lives one changed. Because sometimes the greatest investments aren't in stocks or businesses. They're in people. Life has a way of pulling us in different directions, but it is never too late to rewrite your story. If this story moved you, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that second chances exist. Hit the like button, subscribe for more inspiring stories, and drop a comment below. What would you do if given a second chance? Let's keep the conversation going.